Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clout. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barretons too. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty one. I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They done drive love fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech. I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They done drive love fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clout. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barretons too. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up.
Now, I'm just staring at you because I'm looking at Not the teleprompter. We're not up there yet for teleprompters. Maybe one of these days when we just walk into a lottery place, a lottery booth, and we like, unless we have some sort of luck, you know what I mean? Just throw my jacket on because it's cold, my jacket, that is, and go and purchase some sort of lottery ticket and get some luck. And then we'll able to get a teleprompter. Some of you might be saying, what the heck is Ben Job saying? What is a teleprompter? Turn to your neighbors and say, what is a teleprompter? Good night. I don't even know what to talk about. What do you guys want me to talk about? Should we still talk about the Linden Mash and who go and who ain't go? Now, that's a big topic, though, right? Who go and who ain't go? The Linden people feel that people should have gone there. Their leaders, they didn't see Nigel, they didn't see Aubrey. People are upset, and rightly so. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. We got some other stuff. We should be talking about that, right? But we have some other stuff we want to talk about because there's an elections out there. We've got to kick these corrupt PPP out of office. They're really, really corrupt in every way, shape, and form. Good night to all of you, including those few PNC folks, those few Aubreyites, so to speak, who have been inboxing each other and say, boycott Ben Chap Show, boycott the bumps raised, Ben Chap don't support us, Ben Chap doing this. Father help us, God, please. Yeah. How are you guys doing? Somebody said talk about Maduro. What is there to talk about Maduro? Is he on his way out of office? Is there going to be a coup? Now, I'm not calling for any coup of any nation. You guys know I'm not that type of a person at all, right? I'm just simply not that type at all. I'm a nice, peace-going guy. Ask anybody here. Ask Rhonda Lane. Anybody who picks fight with me, I fight back, yes. I fight back real hard, mind you. But I'm also a nice guy, Sort of. William Bill Cato, what's going on? Bantu King, Hazel Johnson, all of you guys, what's happening? What should we talk about, man? I don't even know what we should be talking about. Tomorrow I should have some former FBI agent on and a former Secret Service agent out in the United Kingdom. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, security, sanctions, and all these things in Guyana. Lots and lots of things to talk about, mind you. Lots of things. While we are still talking about Mash and who in Mash and who. Look, now is not the time for Mashramani, and they should have used the Mashramani to just protest. Just play that song. We just fed up. We just fed up. We just fed up. Rajan Bin, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Winston Jacobs is saying, let's get Maduro $25 million. Come on, let's go. Instead of fighting amongst yourselves, some of you on Facebook and all the this, that, let's go get Maduro $25 million. What do you guys say? Lyndon Elliott, what's going on, man? What's going on? Lillian Elliott is saying, hey, Mark, talk about the new movie starring the Muhammad. Amjad Khan, you mean? Amjad Khan. How many of you guys know who Amjad Khan is? Let me see how many of you guys watched Indian movies. Rajan Bim, you're not supposed to answer that question. How many of you guys watch it? You want me to talk about the Muhammad's? Me? Right? Don't you guys think I have better things to talk about? But we might as well just talk about them for just a couple of minutes, right? I saw some things and I heard some things, and I'm like, you ain't gonna get past me with that. That's stupidity. And so, when people's back against the wall, you know what happens there, right? You guys know, and Gabar Singh, thank you so much, Rajin. And now, we all know what's going on. We're big people. We're not gullible. At least 99% of you watching this show or listening to the show, you're not gullible. You're not gullible at all. And we'll talk about what Azruddin's father said. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? I mean, I didn't drop out from nursery school and thing, but you got to be kidding me. Now, there seemed to be the war between the two of them, the PPP and them chaps, Amjad Khan and them in the Mohammeds. This war that's going on, it's going to get big. It's going to spill over. I wanted to spill over, right? I want it to spill over. Right? What's his name? Muhammad Irfan Ali. I want it to spill over. Muhammad Irfan Ali doesn't want it to spin over. Azruddin and him, they were very close. Azruddin is said to have bought vehicles for Muhammad Irfan Ali, vehicles upon vehicles. I know you guys know the Mohammeds. They are wanted, according to information, they're wanted by U.S. law enforcement agencies for serious crimes. Very, very serious crimes, allegations of assassination, allegations of terrorism, money laundering, gold smuggling, all manner of things they're wanted for. But tonight we're hearing that the father of Azruddin Muhammad is claiming that he's afraid that his son is being targeted, and maybe he feels that his son may be assassinated. That's according to the father and how he feels. Now, you can't blame a father for feeling that way, but something isn't adding up somewhere if you ask me. Jack Dale can probably tell you guys. Irfan Ali can probably tell you guys what has gone wrong. What has gone wrong? Is it a religious war? Is it a war because the U.S. says, look, they want the Mohammeds, and they have there's this talk about sealed indictments against the Mohammeds? Sealed indictments, serious allegations of money laundering, gold smuggling, murders, assassination, terrorism. These are not easy charges and indictments. And with what we're seeing at this point in time and what we're hearing, well, forget about the fact that Azruddin Muhammad drives around and say, hey, let me divert attention a little bit and let the people think that I really love them, or whatever. It's okay. We already know what's happening. But the question is, if these indictments are unsealed, and they are indictments according to several sources in the U.S., they are indictments. And so if these indictments, as you know, Anil Nandalal met with law enforcement officers from various agencies in the U.S. not so long ago. What Anil may not say is whether they discussed extradition. Of course, they have been talking about extradition, but I can put my how much money I have in my pocket, but $13, that the PPP regime will be afraid to sign the extradition warrants for the Mohammeds to be extradited to the United States of America. But one thing about the Mohammeds, they don't travel outside of Guyana, and maybe, obviously, they know why. But let us say, if Jack Dale and Irfan Ali and Anil, if they get seed more than Baigan, as we would say on the quarantine or in Guyana, if they get seed Nancy and Eva and Shondell and all of you who are watching right now, if Jack Dale, as much as he likes to pomposette himself at his so-called press conference, if they got seed more than Baigan, let them sign the extradition warrants, assuming that they may get it pretty soon. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just assuming. But according to several law enforcement sources in the United States of America, there are indictments, not only for the Mohammeds, but quite a few other persons as well. But the question is, will the PPP, Irfan Ali, or Bharat Jagdeo, signed along with Anil Nandalal? Well, Anil doesn't have to sign it. But will they give the Mohammeds up to the U.S.? Will they do that? I doubt that they are going to do that. That's just my opinion. And here's why I doubt that. They got lots of things we can talk about based on. I want to get into this here, not that right now. And we will get. Okay, so what according to what the U.S. thus far they've revealed, when the Mohammeds were sanctioned, was basically lots and lots of allegations, but this is a thorough investigation. It is not an investigation that's done by Sarah or by that anti whatever it is in Guyana. This is not Guyanese agencies, multiple law enforcement agencies. And this is what it says here about the Mohammeds. Allegations that they conceal their illegal activity and operate with impunity. Azruddin and Mohammed's enterprise have engaged, and I want you guys to listen to this carefully. This is where Jagdeo and these other folks should. Jagdeo and these other folks. Where is Jagdeo? Where is Irfan Ali? This is what the investigations have revealed. The Mohammeds to conceal their illegal activity and operate with impunity. Azruddin and Mohammed's enterprise have engaged in extensive bribery schemes involving government officials in Guyana. Now, let's stop here for a moment. If, in fact, this is what U.S. law enforcement agencies are alleging based on their years of investigations of the Mohammeds, they're saying that the Mohammeds, their businesses, have been engaged in extensive bribery schemes involving government, I repeat, government officials in Guyana. Now, if the Mohammeds are extradited, then it spells trouble for Jagdeo. It spells trouble for other government officials. It spells trouble for Irfan Ali. It wouldn't look good. And so it is in the best interest of the PPP that they do not sign that extradition warrant or warrants for the Mohammeds. And now they're contemplating it at the moment. Jagdeo is contemplating it. He might be listening to a former top U.S. official. And that former top U.S. official might be whispering to the PPP regime to get the Mohammeds out of Guyana. Now, that is their battle to fight. It's a law enforcement question and so forth. We are just talking about what the issue or issues are. Now, let's continue here according to the sanctions. It says here, including providing direct and recurring bribery payments to Guyanese government officials to ensure favorable treatment in criminal. And this is what is being alleged of the Mohammeds them. Azruddin Mohammed and his father. Serious allegations. Recurring bribery payments to Guyanese government officials. And now this might not just be limited to PPP government. And I'm just saying, because between 2015 to 2020, they had another government in office. And that particular government, some of those officials might not be excluded from that. And that's just me assuming here, mind you. But let's continue. It says here that favorable treatment in criminal or civil matters that would otherwise suggest their involvement in illegal criminal activity. In return, corrupt officials receive cash and gifts for incidents that are overlooked. Now, wait a minute. Irfan Ali, where are you? Jagdeo, where are you? Where are these guys? Sorry. Where is Jagdeo? Where is Irfan Ali? Where are these guys? Where are they? Irfan Ali, Bara Jagdeo, can somebody tag them right now? Where are those Kunumunus? Because if the Mohammed, and the Mohammed is probably hinting at that if they go down, well, Jagdeo and Irfan Ali and maybe Anil and other officials, government officials, will definitely have to go down. That is why Bharat Jagdeo is treading lightly. And so behind the scenes, they're doing lots and lots of things to go after the Mohammeds. I repeat, they are working overtime to go after the Mohammeds. And now the Mohammeds found, they kind of get sense, you know. The father is a little smarter than the son, right? They kind of get sense. They know what's happening. And while they may have been trying to negotiate, or Irfan Ali may have been talking to the father to negotiate, man, I get this thing here, man, I settle this thing here. It's just not working out. And I hope it's probably going to get ruthless. Ruthless. And based on information and law enforcement agencies in the U.S., the Mohammeds are not church people, you know. You see what Azraleen got next to him there? They're not church people, you know. And when they talk about bribery and contacts and so forth and so on, I don't know if they're including the current director of public prosecution. I don't know. I'm sitting here on my show. All I can say to you guys is I don't know. I don't even know what's in those indictments, those sealed indictments. And when an indictment or indictments are sealed, it simply means that the clock for the statute of limitation, it doesn't start clicking. However, when you unseal an indictment, that is when the statute of limitation, the clock starts clicking. Click, 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 click. So an indictment can be sitting there for a while until it's unsealed. Then the clock starts clicking. Now the question is, will the PPP sign the warrants to extradite the Mohammeds? Or will the law enforcement agency right now in their office, that law enforcement agency that has several unsealed indictments, according to a source, several unsealed indictments for the Mohammeds, and whether those indictments will be handed over to the government of Guyana seeking their extradition request. It's just left to be seen. Now, the elder Mohammed is speaking out and saying, well, hey, it's officials of the PPP regime. This is the first of its kind in terms of coming from the Mohammeds, making that direct allegations against the corrupt PPP regime to say that they have a hand in what is happening here right now. Well, the government, or so-called government of Guyana, they have no other choice, absolutely no other choice. And now the indictments, or whatever, the sanctions spoke about corruption, corrupt in law enforcement, corrupt in the judiciary, all manner of allegations of corruption leveled against the Mohammeds them. All manner of allegations. Now let's go quickly to a recording that was done by the elder Mohammed, Azraddin Muhammad. Hear what he has to say, and then I'll try to make some corrections.
Good afternoon, everyone. 9 months ago, myself, Nazar Muhammad, and my son, Azraddin Muhammad, along with our two companies, have been sanctioned by OFAC. OFAC is an arm, the financial arm of the American government. And I have been very silent on this. To say that it hasn't affected us is an understatement. Indeed, it has affected us greatly, because our entire business, actually come to a standstill. What I want to tell you, because I've seen, read, and heard from people, some very senior people within the political structure, who has been deliberately misrepresenting what this sanction is about, ostracizing us. The sanction is about myself and my son and our companies cannot do business with American citizens and American companies. We have been in the oil and gas sector very early, And we have lots of clients from various American companies who had to leave after the sanction respectfully. We were providing great service for them, but they had to leave, which is understandable. But to say that anyone who associate themselves with the Mohammeds would be sanctioned is ludicrous. Nazar Muhammad, since after the sanction, people took tens of thousands of pictures with him, and I'm not aware of anyone being sanctioned.
All right, a slight correction there. That's definitely not entirely true, and one cannot expect the senior Mohammed to interpret what the sanctions are. The sanctions are what they are, and it's pretty clear. If you check, that's the highest form of sanctions, and it simply means people cannot do business with the Mohammeds. In fact, they can do business with the Mohammeds, but if they do business with the Mohammeds, they will be sanctioned. That is a fact. That is what the sanction is about. And we don't need the elder Muhammad to give his interpretation. Of course, he's entitled to his interpretation. And of course, his interpretation will be very mild. And, oh, hey, wait a minute. No, that's not the sanction. That's not what the sanction is saying. No, it's not for him to do that interpretation. Now, here's what the sanction is actually saying. And it's pretty clear. And somebody asked earlier, what has happened to the permanent secretary? Well, if the PPP regime is really going after these Mohammeds, and of course, the U.S. law enforcement agencies have been keeping an eye on them for many, many years now, even while they were so closely attached to the PPP regime and all manner of allegations and accusations about the 2020 elections and all manner of things. And you guys remember when Claudette Singh said somebody wanted to assassinate her, right? And that a particular businessman wanted her dead. Now, she said that, and she knows who she was talking about. But we're not here to talk about that tonight, or that so-called quote-unquote businessman who wanted to assassinate the chief elections officer. We'll talk about that some other time, though. Or the chairman, of GCOM. Now, let's go to what Mohammed said about the sanction. Let's go. Now, there is a particular part that I want to make it clear to you guys that this is the part. Muhammad, the elder Muhammad, is saying that he wants to interpret what the sanction is about. Give us a break. Give me a break. So now here is the truth. It says here, and that's according to official report out of the Treasury, the Department of Treasury of the United States of America, not Mark Benchop. It says here, as a result of the action, all property and interest in property of the designated persons described above that are in the United States or in the possession or control of U.S. persons are blocked and must be reported to OFAC. In addition, any entities that are owned directly or indirectly, individually, or in the aggregate 50% or more by one or more blocked persons are also blocked, unless authorized by general or specific license issued by OFAC or exempt. Regulations generally prohibit transactions by U.S. persons or within or transiting the United States of America. Okay, that is what they are saying there. So now, wake up, you guys. Wake up, right? That is what they are saying. But it says, in addition, there's another part, and if our operator gets his act together, you'll be able to see it. There's another part that actually says here, in addition to financial institutions and other persons that engage in certain transactions or activities with the sanctioned entities, and individuals may expose themselves to sanctions or be subject to an enforcement action. The prohibitions include, and listen carefully, guys, the prohibition includes the making of any contribution or provision of funds, goods or services by, to, or for the benefit of any designated person, or the receipt of any contribution or provision of funds, goods, or services from any such person. It's pretty clear. PenShop is not saying it. It is what the sanction is saying, OFAC. The sanction agency is saying that anyone who does business directly or indirectly with the Mohammeds are subjected to be sanctioned or could possibly be sanctioned or other forms of what they described enforcement activities. And the enforcement activities is very broad. They're saying that. I'm not saying that, mind you, but the elder Muhammad has, of course, for obvious reasons, his own interpretation. Now let's go back. It says here, these actions were conducted in coordination with the HSI New York Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, Strike Force, the Diplomatic Security Service, U.S. Customs and Border Protections, New York Operations Office of Intelligence, and the FBI's Miami Field Office with assistance from HSI. And this is huge. This is huge investigations. Do not be fooled, guys. Do not be fooled. Do not be manipulated. There's a serious war that's going on between the Mohammeds and the PPP, specifically Bharat Jagdeo. And at this point in time, Irfan Ali cannot do a single thing. Irfan Ali cannot save the Mohammeds as much as he's trying to. It cannot happen. It is gone. As that Klung said, that guy, you guys know who that Klung is, right? Because Guyana has a huge Klung, a big Klung, says, war break. Well, war break between the PPP and the Mohammeds. Do not get caught between that war, guys. Do not get caught between the war and do not be manipulated through publicity stunt or PR stunt. Do not sit back and watch that war. Now, listen to this here. Continue.
Good afternoon, everyone. 9 months ago, myself, Nazar Muhammad, and my son, Azruddin Muhammad, along with our two companies, have been sanctioned by OFAC. OFAC is an arm, the financial arm of the American government. And I have been very silent on this. To say that it hasn't affected us is an understatement. Indeed, it has affected us greatly because our entire business, actually come to a standstill. What I want to tell you, because I've seen, read, and heard from people, some very senior people within the political structure, who has been deliberately misrepresenting what this sanction is about, ostracizing us. The sanction is about myself and my son and our companies cannot do business with American citizens and American companies. We have been in the oil and gas sector very early, and we have lots of clients from various American companies who had to leave after the sanction respectfully. We were providing great service for them, but they had to leave, which is understandable. But to say that anyone who associates themselves with the Mohammeds would be sanctioned is ludicrous. Nazar Muhammad, since after the sanction, people took tens of thousands of pictures with him, and I'm not aware of anyone being sanctioned. The US government wouldn't sanction someone for taking picture with someone. Yeah. They have spoken about lots of people has lost their visas. I'm in this, and I'm totally unaware of that. Daily News and Guyanese Critic, they are two surrogates of the ruling administration. And they put numbers to it. But what I know is that a lot of people lost their visas who are closely connected with the administration. These are not people who are known to us. I don't know them. Azruddin don't know them on a personal level. We know each other by just seeing them around. So I just don't understand what is this about. Oh, all my life I have been associated with PPP. I worked with Fobs Burnham as a young public servant. Never had a personal relationship with him, but I worked with him as a personal officer based in Esquivo, his government. And from then onwards, I knew all the political leaders in our country. I was very close to Dr. Jagan. I worked hard to restore him in power in 1992. Those who are still old enough can substantiate that. So I just don't understand where this hostility towards us is coming from. I have supported other political parties financially, but I've always been very close to the People's Progressive Party. I would like to address this issue that was raised by this young girl that Guyanese Critic interviewed. Now I want to make it very clear that I have instilled in my family values. I can remember one time when my daughter was in Form 1 at high school, she brought a girl home by us. Unknown to us, she just showed up with this child and say, Mom, Dad, she's going to stay with us because, she's from Bartica and the conditions under which she's staying is not very nice. And we accepted her. She lived with us for 5 years until she wrote her CXC. We treated her like our own child, and my son and my daughter and her, they were all together in the same house, and he never even looked at her, in that kind of manner. So for this man to fabricate this lies, and we took on a private investigator, and it has been confirmed that this was a plan by, people that is very close to this administration. I'm very disturbed about it because this is no joke. And I want to thank the public for standing with Azruddin. Because the plan was that if the public had bought into it and carry pressure, then it would have gone to a different stage, and eventually police would have come in. He went and he reported to the station, and up to today.
Azruddin going to the station to report things these days? Times have changed. Oh yeah, how times have changed indeed. All right, if you're now joining in, us right here on 107.1 FM. My name is Mark Benshop. I'll look at some of your comments. People are asking what's going on with the permanent secretary and all of this. Very close. Now, there are several things. I see there are lots of holes in that statement, lots and lots of holes in that statement. There are lots of folks connected to the PPP regime who has had their visas revoked. That's a fact. policemen, and you name it. And there are also lots of folks who were very close to the Mohammeds that have gotten their visas revoked as well or canceled. And so, you know, there's lots of holes in that presentation, but people have a right to say what they want to say their side, right? Um, but it is what it is. People have a right to paint the picture, but everybody knows what's going on. Hey, in the end of that here, and I'm just smiling because I'm smiling because the PPP and the Mohammeds, they have a personal war that's going on. And in the end of that, at the end, there was a mention with no names, of course, a hinting of a particular businessman in Guyana. Well, this is the Mohammeds and them on their nice days, and that's them with the husband of the director of public prosecution. He's the head of the Ethnic Relations Commission, and that guy in the black there in the middle, with the dark shades in the middle, all over black. He's a senior police officer. Rolling when you're rolling big and big, and suddenly, because of all of the indictments, allegations of indictments and sanctions and all these things. They're not easy sanctions, guys. The sanctions are not easy, but Guyanese people are easily manipulated by you. Some Guyanese. Don't be manipulated. Watch the ride. Do not be manipulated or get caught up. And at least I'm not shedding any tears for anybody. And don't get me wrong. Let them fight each other. That's my position. But look, the businessman that I assume that they're talking about is, what is it? Is it Jagmohan? So now the Mohammeds now apparently they're snitching. They said the Jagmohans. They didn't mention the Jagmohans by name because they've had serious issues with the Jagmohan and the allegations of smuggling gold also, right? But the Jagmohans themselves, Tamesh, this might be a different Jagmohan, the brothers, but Tamesh Jagmohan, he has been under investigations. He has been under the radar of U.S. law enforcement agents as well, or agencies as well. And so the Mohammeds are of the view that it is Jagmohan who snitched and who ain't snitched. But Jagmohan himself has had his U.S. visas revoked. I think all members of his immediate family as well, just like the Mohammeds and so forth. So there seemed to be another personal war that's going on there. And Jagmohan, I don't know how the feds haven't put the bangles on the Jagmohan as yet, right? I don't know whether the Jagmohans have cooperated because it is said that they was a nice, fruitful meeting outside of Guyana not so long ago. And I don't know if the Mohammed Jagmohan is snitched on them or whatever. I don't know what's happening. But it's the Jagmohan he's talking about. It's the Jagmohan. I don't know. The feds should have taken some of these guys away from Guyana a long time ago. Whether it's the Mohammeds, whether it's Jagmohan, whether it's well, they took Roger Khan, and Roger Khan is back. And even Azruddin has personal beef with Roger Khan. Even the father, Mohammed, has a personal beef with Roger Khan. So everybody got beef. It seems that the Mohammed got beef with everybody. Everybody. But now they're trying to nice things up. Y'all wake up, people. Y'all wake up. Don't get caught between the sandwich. There's a dirty sandwich there, right? Let me check some of your comments. Beatrice and all of you, how are you doing? Clouds 592. So lots of things happening. Now, the Elder Mohammed, popped out now to say that he's now afraid for his son's life, that his son is probably targeted for assassination. I don't know if the government, the so-called government of Guyana, took back all of their gun licenses, but these guys had some very powerful guns. Very, very powerful guns and a big army, so to speak. I don't know. But it is interesting, though, that the father is now saying that his son is targeted for assassination. Now, I believe that. That is what I believe. The other stuff, kind of iffy. But this is what I believe. Why? Because this guy, Jagdeo, you see his eyes? He's a criminal. He's notorious. Remember, quite a few people got assassinated in Guyana under Jagdeo's presidency, under the PPP regime. And so the Mohammeds know very well how Jagdeo operates. And so he wouldn't put it past Jagdeo to order a hit on not just his son, but both of them. Waddle comes to mind, what happened under the PPP regime, Jagdeo's presidency. Saturday Saul and some members of his family and his security guard murdered, assassinated under the PPP regime, under Jagdeo's regime. So the senior Mohammed might be speaking the truth there. And now there have been other allegations that the Mohammed involved in whatever assassination plot and killings and so forth and so on. Allegations, mind you, whether it's paper shorts, murder, or whatever. But this, if you ask me, right? If you ask me, because of course they no longer get the protection of the state, they no longer get the protection of the now commissioner of police and all these sort of folks. The protection is long gone. They probably don't have the protection of the director of public prosecution. They don't have the support or protection from Irfan Ali. And so Jagdeo is really going after them. That's the war. That's the fight. It is said that they are now cursing, the Mohammeds are now cursing this big fat so-and-so, to quote one of the sources within the Mohammed circle, so to speak. Lots of sources within the Mohammed circles. And that is why I'm going to say to you guys as we prepare to wrap up this evening, be careful, be extra, extra careful. Now, again, I say this, that the elder Mohammed has said that the sanction doesn't mean X, Y, and that's not true. The sanction is a heavy sanction, the heaviest. And now it says here, anyone. Now, I'm not saying that if somebody takes a picture with the Mohammeds that they are going to be sanctioned. That's not what they're saying. It's not saying that at all. It's just not saying. Anybody can take a picture with them. But when somebody takes a picture, thank you, June Cameron, Courtney Crummy Wing as well. And if Courtney Crummy Wing relatives, family members who are watching tonight's program, good night to you guys. Now, the sanction is actually saying, and I repeat here now, and we don't need the Mohammeds to interpret what the sanction says. Common sense and real people know what it says. It says here, in addition, financial institutions and other persons that engage in certain transactions or activities with the sanctioned entities and individuals may expose themselves to sanctions or be subject to an enforcement action. The prohibitions include the making of any contribution or provision of funds, goods or services by, to, or for the benefit of any designated person, or the receipt of any contribution or provision of funds, goods or services from any such person. What they're saying is any such person, meaning any person who is sanctioned. That is what OFAC is saying. And mind you, we do not need the Mohammeds to interpret that, what OFAC is saying about the sanction. Now, if people take photographs with the Mohammeds, fair enough. They can't go and get sanctions for that. But what Uncle Sam or law enforcement agencies may be doing, I'm not saying that they are, but may be doing, is keeping a close eyes on every activity of the Mohammeds in Guyana, including visits to areas. Now, you can't underestimate Uncle Sam. Now, I'm not saying that that is what Uncle Sam is doing or law enforcement agencies are doing. I'm not saying that they're doing that. But usually when folks are under those serious investigations and allegations of serious crimes and serious sanctions, the highest level of sanctions, you don't put certain things past law enforcement agencies in the United States of America. And who knows, maybe a lot of them are right there in Guyana. Maybe a lot of them are observing situations in Guyana. But we've got to watch the ride, though. It's 24 minutes after 9 o'clock. Be careful. There's a saying that I've seen all over Facebook. If Guyana is to grow, the PPP must go. And when the PPP goes, the PPP must be replaced. The PPP must be replaced with honorable or sufficiently honorable men and women. No one is perfect. But we need good leaders. We need strong leaders. We don't need pakus. We don't need katahars, bunks out of a corner, and everybody running around with mal and hala. Oh, be careful, guys. Honorable Simona Brooms, how are you doing? I see she's watching. Good night to you. And good night to all of you. Every single Raquel Gentle, how are you doing? But guess what? We'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time. There may be some actions, and you guys might be surprised by some of them. You guys might be surprised on who really tops the wanted list in Guyana and who's the biggest drug lord in Guyana. Some of you may be surprised, or most of you may be surprised. And don't be surprised if you hear of not sanctions, extradition warrants. Don't be surprised if you hear of that. Having said that, though, something else that I want to say before I leave you this evening, and should I say it now or should I wait until tomorrow when I have some law enforcement guys on, U.S. law enforcement, former FBI agent and a former agent out in the UK. And we'll also have Tom Anderson with us tomorrow night. Should be a packed night. But for now, I'm going to go. I'm going to leave you guys tonight. Be careful, guys. Be very careful. Lots of things happening. Don't get caught up in the crossfire. And don't let people just text you and whisper, oh, the word the one man shop, and don't worry with them. That's all I say. Don't worry with them. Out of here, guys. Wayne Caesar, how are you doing, my friend? Maybe Wayne should be on with us tomorrow as well. If you're available, whoever, Wayne. Yep. But I'm out of here, guys. Out of here. Be careful. Be careful. Can't say I never warn you guys. Be careful. Not everything that glitters is gold. Be careful. How many times must I say to you guys, be careful? Don't let people interpret things for you. The sanction is the sanction. It's a heavy sanction, and you cannot do business with people who are sanctioned like that. If you do business, it's at your own risk, and you yourselves can end up being sanctioned, or the law enforcement, or the enforcement sanctions against individuals. And the enforcement sanction is pretty broad. Be careful, guys. Be careful. The battle has just begun. And in my opinion, if the Mohammeds have concrete evidence against Jack Deere, not just talk, concrete evidence, send it to me. I'll know how to use it on this show, mind you. I'm out of here. God bless all of you. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Basil Bradshaw, how are you doing, my friend? Basil, we miss you on the air, man. Hurry up and get back a program or something. Hurry up and get back your program. Nancy and the entire crew, Princess, Carlton Popo, Jomo, every single one of you, Neville, June Cameron, Lynette, Allison, and Simona Brooms, Desiree Emmanuel, Janice M. Johnson, Allison Bennett, and others. I'm out of here. Tomorrow morning, I'll be up at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. There's a religious program right here. We need some prayers as well, right? All of us, including me. All right. It was a nice day today. Hector Stout dig out abusing us. Good night again to all of you. Tony Hack and everybody. God bless you all. So long.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%. Get your give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear in the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up. You done
we're in Pradoville 2. Alright, so here's where all the big shots will be living. Pradoville 2, compliments of Bharat Jagir.
So it's in the rice price.
The rice price something to do with it. Start doing it, man. Somebody, they are talking to why they come and tell why nothing. And you come out, people every week here basically.
Okay.